Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. This morning, just making sure I'm looking at the right way, out of the camera, not looking at you all goggle-eyed. This week's motivation is some really little known goal setting nuggets that I thought I would share with you. But why on earth would you even want to listen to these goal setting nuggets on this Monday motivation? So this morning I thought I would share these nuggets because last week we had a 3-day event, Visibility Made Easy, and it was designed to help you to stand out, to help you to raise your profile, and more importantly to help you to have the ability to just show up when you need to, especially if you've got your own business and especially if you need to start putting yourself out there. So if you can show up and be visible and put your work out there, even when there's, some restrictions on where we can gather, what we can do, even when we feel like there's a challenge or something, that is stopping us, then job done, Job done. So last week, I have to say, there were some of the most amazing people there. There were some amazing people that weren't there too, but there was some of the most amazing gathering of souls, I would say, almost. So let me take a sip of my drinks. I've got a foggy throat this morning. And in celebration of the sun and in celebration of you, morning, Ivona, morning. I thought today I would have sunflowers. No red flowers today. I thought I would have sunflowers. So there they are, miniature sunflowers, bright and breezy. So, goal setting nuggets. So why am I talking about goal setting nuggets and what about them is not known? Well, before I go any further and before I forget, do remember to share this on your timeline or even personally with your friends. You never know who of your friends, who of your family, who of your acquaintances might need a little bit of Monday motivation this morning. So, without any further ado, well, what is it about goal setting and why might it be important? So I'm going to start with sharing a couple of stories. So these are both, they're not made up for these Facebook Lives. These are actually, they are actual true stories. So, Ivona loves the flowers. Thank you, Ivona. So, here's the thing. About 2 years ago, I was coaching a client and the client had been made redundant and they were looking for their next kind of career move. And one of the things that we found as we worked together was that as they were looking for their next, their next role or their next position, they kept hitting up against like what I would describe as maybe a loss of confidence. Okay, I'm sure we've all been there. For those of us who have been employed and going through the redundancy thing, and at the moment I thought this would be a really great theme to bring out now because as I check my LinkedIn account, I see almost on a daily basis some people that I know and some people that I don't know through connections who are going through this challenging time at the moment, redundancies, job losses, and wondering well, what can I do? Everyone's in the same boat. How do I get past it, over it, through it, and all of that sort of stuff? And it occurred to me the reason why, so many of the people that I work with do achieve their goals when we focus on what it is that they want to achieve isn't because just that they're sitting down and setting their goals. And, there's so many people who watch these Monday motivations and they're like, right, this is what I'm going to do. And they write back to me and tell me, oh my gosh, I watched it and I did this, this and this, and I put my goal in place. But I'm about making things like a bit less stressful and a bit more easier. So here are some things that we do when we're setting our goals that can sometimes get in the way, and here's how we can move through and past them. And for those of you who are regular watchers and listeners of this Monday motivation and these motivational videos, I'd love you to pop some comments either below, but if it feels a bit too open to talk about your goals and what you want to achieve and things like that, then by all means go over to the Visibility Vibes Tribe, which is a Facebook group where anything you type in there is only seen by other people in the group. It's not seen by your long lost relatives, it's not seen by your work colleagues, it's not seen by your family members. So you get a bit more privacy with people who really celebrate your goals and achieve them along the way. So one of the things that I realised that specifically with this client, realised more than ever, is that sometimes when we set a goal, the first thing we do is we're not focused on what that thing is that we want to achieve or what the thing is that we want to do. So that's the first thing. So get really clear, find a way, get really clear. We did an exercise last week where we went through the exercise, kind of stopped in the middle, did some bits and pieces with that and then moved forward. So for those of you who already privately coach with me, perhaps there's something that you're thinking of doing or something that you're worried about. That's a really good goal, actually. If you've got a worry, a concern, if something's stressing you out, if something's just playing on your mind a little bit, people often don't think about doing anything with that, and that actually helps with moving a goal along. So thinking about what you want and being able to make it clear, not for anyone else to hear it, but for you to know like where you are now, where you want to get to. How you get there actually at this stage isn't important, and that's one of the little known nuggets, if you like, about goal setting. How you're going to do it, exactly how, and having the plan in place isn't the first most important step to setting a really great goal. So goal setting for greatness. Okay, so just know where you are now, like be clear on where you are now and where you want to get to. And there's a couple of questions that I tend to ask people surrounding that. I'm only not doing that this morning, just in the interests of time. Okay, so this was the thing, and I remember with this person, there were a lot of, but this could happen, and I don't want this thing, and this might also happen. There was a lot of concern about what could happen, which actually led to anxiety. And with that anxiety, it got in the way of the kind of the clean vision of the goal. Another example I'll give you, as many of you know, I was really lucky and fortunate to get into the Ballot of London Marathon, and then they postponed it till October. Now, all the way through the summer, it's been really hard for me to focus and train with the whole, is it going to go? Is it not going to go? And a friend of mine recommended a book, which title escapes me now, but it's a really great book. I downloaded it and started kind of devouring it and reading it, which helped me to reframe that. Because if you don't know where you're heading to and you're kind of, well, sometimes you don't even realise you don't know where you're heading to, but the goal is kind of wishy-washy then. And not because you're not setting your goal, but because there's no end in sight. And without the end in sight, it can sometimes make it more difficult for us to go for it. So yeah, reading the book was a really great thing for me to do. It helped me to restart my training. And although I relaxed my training without knowing when the marathon's going to be, we found out last week on Friday that, in fact, it might have even been on Thursday. I can't even remember. But we found out late last week that yes, we can run the marathon virtually. There's certain parameters that are put in place, and as long as we do that within the certain 24-hour period, we still get our bling, our medal, and we still get our t-shirt. And we get to run a marathon again in the next 3 years. I would like to run my marathon in 2021. There's no way that I want to put it off to any further in the distance. I'd like to run it before I'm 50, if I can. So that's the thing. So that bit of news I noticed from the running community and from people that maybe like me and novice runners wouldn't have classed themselves as runners before they entered the marathon. It gave a renewed kind of kickstart into why, the what, the how, and everything else. And it's interesting because quite often I teach these nuggets, obviously over a lot longer time period, but I teach these as masterclasses to various groups. There's a couple of global networks that I teach these sorts of things to. When I go into a corporate setting and I'm able to teach this, most obviously for things like sales, but least obviously or less obviously for things like leadership training and things like that, where people don't really think about setting a clear goal to moving forward. Or if people are looking at their career and becoming more visible and raising their profile, they often look at the outcome of the thing they want, more followers or more people watching their videos. And even things like to be able to do videos confidently, to be able to sell from videos, which was a big thing that came up last week, to be able to sell our services full stop, especially when all around you the world are saying, well, people aren't going to be spending money right now. I personally know that's not true. I've seen clients that have sold things even throughout this pandemic. I've seen clients who've been able to, most importantly, make a difference to other people's lives with the work that they do, with the work that they can't stop doing. So, when we pay attention to what is around us and what is outside of us, it can put us in the way. Yes, give you certainty, gave you certainty, exactly. However, the little known nugget around, or nuggets around goal setting, or some of the ones that I want to share with you, actually don't have anything to do with setting your mind on your goal. And here's why. Here's what I found. For those people that set their mind to doing something, it means that you rely purely on willpower. And if you rely purely on willpower, brain focus, there sometimes comes a point, a bump in the road, a rainy day, snow and ice or something that makes you think, oh, it might not be safe for me to do that. And this is very much the same in classic goal setting, In classic goal setting, often we focus on what we want to do, things we want to do. So here are some of the little known nuggets. Once we have got a clear vision and certainty of where we want to go and what we want to do, then it's fine to kind of let go of that as the driving force, because that puts us into the minds of it all, the mindset of it all, the drive of it all, the achieving and all of that, which actually isn't the thing that helps us get the goal. And not a lot of people realise that. What we're then looking to do is to work past the drive and the how-to. So the other reason when people come to me why they struggle with their goals is because they're trying to work out the how, or they think they've worked out the how. I'm going to be visible because I've got this new program on and it's 6 weeks and this thing happens and that thing happens and blah, 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 which sounds sensible on paper, and it certainly is, because, many people that work with me, they're smart, they're savvy, they're go-getters. They don't like to be told what to do and that they have to do things in a certain way. So being able to come, get clarity on the vision, and then form their own steps on how to get there is immensely helpful for them. But that's also not the thing that's going to get you to the goal. The thing about the goal, and this is what I saw happen with this particular person that was made redundant, we had a session where we looked at what they wanted to achieve, and then we went into some layers below that. And we explored things like, once they had that new role, what would they be doing in the new role? What would they love doing? What wouldn't they want to do? We explored many layers below it. And then we went through an exercise that helped them to pull and draw all of that stuff together that they could refer to. So much better than a to-do list, because it wasn't overwhelming, it wasn't stressful, and it meant that in the next moment, when they needed to do something, they could take a step forward. Anyone relate to that? Anyone ever relate to having a big, long to-do list full of juicy things that maybe you like doing, but it's felt like overwhelming? Whether you're watching this live on the replay, just give me a love heart. Nice bit of red across the screen to counteract with the yellow of the sunflowers. So have you ever had that feeling? It's worth just going back to that thought, because then it gives you a benchmark of kind of where you want to be, where you might not want to be, what you might want to be different. So one of the things that to think about is, once you've achieved the goal, what's happening after that as a result of you achieving the goal? Quite often we look to the goal as the end. We don't look past the goal and what's going on. And thank you for the love hearts, I appreciate that. We don't look at what's going on past that goal. So the issue with that is that we then stop. So, when I sat with the client and we worked out what they actually wanted to be doing and how they would feel about it and what would be going on for them, it gave kind of great leaps and strides. So it was no surprise to me that literally within a couple of weeks, they contacted me and said, oh my gosh, this seems really strange, but, I've been offered this role and it ticks, that list we went through, it ticks all of those boxes and some other stuff that we discussed. So it kind of it's like an emotional goal that gets you. And when that goal has you emotionally, you can't not do it. You can't feel overwhelmed. You can't feel confused about the list of things to do. And the reason that so many people struggle with goal setting or getting something done is usually because they've done half of the job based on maybe what they've seen other people do, maybe kind of looking from the outside in, or maybe even doing something around some form of goal setting, but it doesn't quite complete them for what they need. With the marathon, I'm getting excited about it, not just because, you heard me say a few moments ago, not just because it's definitely going on, but also now they've told us, if you do this thing, this will happen. I can now kind of project into the future of after the 4th of October and know, well, I'll be able to have run my medal because this is how it would have gone around the course. I can now start to plot my how-tos because it's like I know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, whether, I need to dial up my training or not, how I need to train, how I need to start thinking or rethinking about how I'm eating and how I build up and fuel towards that run. All of those things might seem like nice to-dos and step-by-steps, but they're actually putting me into the feeling of having done it. I said, once I've got my t-shirt and my bling, my medal, I'm already past running it. I'm already past the recovery of it afterwards, and I'm looking at it and I'm taking photos of it, or I might even indulge and wear it around my neck, around the house for a little bit, but I'm already in that place of past the goal. And it allows me to really seep the feelings of that goal in my bones. So whether you are looking for your next career move, whether you are looking to achieve something, today is Monday. It's as great a day as any to start looking at what you want to achieve. Now, it might be what you want to achieve today. It might be what you want to achieve this week. It might even be what you want to achieve for the month. In some cases, we were talking last week about, setting our plan for the next 90 days. Just for the next 90 days. So it allows us to go through the things that we already have planned and come out of the other end and incorporate what's necessary and really discard anything that is unnecessary. It allows us to have that motivation, that clear view to be able to get going, keep going and achieve our goals in a way that feels less push, less pull and less stressful. So yes, wear that medal every day. Too right, I will be wearing that medal every day. In the shower, around to the local shops, when I'm still running, because I would like to continue running, I will, trust me, I'll be showing up for webinars with it, probably, Facebook Lives. In fact, you'll get sick of seeing it long before I do. So, with that said, think about something that you'd love to achieve in the next week, in the next 30 days, in the next 90 days, 3 months. And then start to have a bit of a plan. Now, if you're worried or concerned about whether you're going to hit those targets or you need a spring to your step for that, there are a couple of things you can do. You can, piece it together, read some books, take you a few days or weeks, depending on how much time you've got. You can try and find some more videos or look at my Monday motivations on here or on YouTube. Or you can book a special one-off session with me. Now, I don't tend to do one-off coaching sessions because I don't always feel it serves people. But do remember that I still have some availability for these £99 sessions. And the £99 session is a 60-minute session. You don't have to do any preparation. You come to me with your goal, we'll work through your goal, and you will literally pop out the other end with your next steps and your plan and what you want to do next. I'll even record it for you so you can listen back for posterity. So if that's something that you'd like to do, just send me a message up on this page, or if you are watching this on YouTube, have a look at the link below. Just click on the link to get started. And you'll click on the link, you'll make your payment, and then it will open up a calendar where you can book your slot and get started. It might be that you want to get your goal ready and set for something that you want to do in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, in a year's time. But having that clear path, those clear step by step, will give you what you need to not be overwhelmed, to not be pushing it and forcing it and twisting it and turning it, and not be worrying about, well, what do I need to do next? We can lay that out. Okay, so lots of love to you. Happy Monday. And remember that I make these Monday motivations specifically for you, for your morning, your Monday, and your week. So, Ivona is saying, indeed, your sessions are perfect. So, Ivona has experience of my sessions. So, thank you for saying that. And I'm wishing you all a great Monday. And remember, whether you're watching this back on the replay or like Ivona Live, where can you share this? Is there a group you can share this with where you're allowed to? Is it a friend or two that's popped into your mind that may be going through a time where they might need a bit of a pep? Share it to them as a private message, you know. Or if not, just share it onto your Facebook page, because I'm never, ever surprised by the people that reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, I've been watching this for a while because this person's recommended it. Or, you know, I really needed to hear what you had to share this morning. So, Sally's saying, thank you, Jenny. I have been suffering from, and then she's left us on a cliffhanger. Oh, you can't do that, Sally. I want to know, suffering from what? I want to see more. Oh, anxiety. Do you know, Sally, so many people that I've spoken to are going through it as well. You know, so sending you a big virtual hug, because it can be a scary time for people. So yeah, let's have a chat. Let's have a chat. And I remember Sally is like the human version to these sunflowers. So to hear that doesn't make me feel good. So yeah, let's find out what's going on with you on that, and let's get you sorted out. Wishing you a happier Monday. If you have just caught this and you haven't heard the beginning, go back and listen from the beginning. And even within this, you'll get some really good and free and complimentary nuggets on how to start to set those goals so that it rids that anxiety-riddled focus. So, sending you lots of love. Thank you so much for watching, Ivona. Thank you so much for watching and commenting, Sally. And for those of you that hop on and hop off but didn't comment, that's fine. I shall keep your anonymity. And I look forward to hearing what you've achieved. And remember, for those of you that are in the Visibility Vibes Tribes group, if I can get my teeth in, then go and post in there. None of your friends or family see it. It's only the people in the group, and there's such a supportive bunch of people in there. So looking forward to seeing what you share, looking forward to catching up with those of you who I'm catching up with today, and lots of love to you, and have a really motivational Monday. Bye for now.